A new year doesn't mean a new you. I feel like a lot of people will make all these New Year's resolutions and will say, yeah, now that it's a new year, it's a new me. But understand that just because the calendar changes, just because it goes from 2024 to 2025, just because if the day changes, just because when you look at your phone and it doesn't say 2024 anymore and it says 2025, you're a different person. A different year doesn't mean you're a different person. And I feel like a lot of people will set those New Year's resolutions and wait for the time to start to change, to start to build those good habits. But why would you start to build those good habits with a schedule, right? You have to start now and you have to start today, because everybody knows that New Year's resolutions never actually work. There's always those jokes about how the first 2 weeks of the new year, the gyms are super busy because everybody has the New Year's resolutions to get active and to be consistent in the gym. But once that hype and once that energy surrounding New Year's dies and fades out, it's dead again. The gyms get empty and it's just the people who have always been going, not the people who just started going throughout the New Year's. Most people who have set New Year's resolutions, they don't become habits. I feel like instead of saying New Year's resolutions, you have to say new me resolutions, right? Because if it's only throughout the new year is when you're making those resolutions, when it all fades, when the hype of the new year fades, what are you left with? When you don't feel like doing it anymore, you're not going to do it. But because of the new year, you feel like doing it, right? You feel like you're obligated to start that new dream, to pursue your dream, right? You feel obligated because of the new year. And when you should have started a long time ago, and since you started it because of the new year, it won't last. If it's an external thing, it won't last you. It has to be an internal change for you to change. So instead of changing because of an external thing, it has to be an internal change. If things around you always change, then you will never change. In order for you to internally change and for you to actually change, you have to be the one to decide to change. You can't wait for the calendar to change and then that's when you'll change. It has to be an internal decision, not just an external factor. So before you make those New Year's resolutions, understand that they won't last. It has to be a new you resolution. It has to be an internal change. You have to be the one to decide, hey, I don't want to live this life that I'm living anymore. This life that I have, the person who I am, I'm not happy with it. I've put aside my dream. I've put aside what I've always wanted to do for so long, and now I need to change. I have to be the one to decide and to take those steps, not some calendar change, right? So before you say, hey, I'm gonna set this for my new year, this for my new year, and that, start today. Don't wait for January 1st to start. I feel like that's where people get it wrong. It's like, for me, I'm like, yeah, once I get this, then I'm gonna start to do this. But I have to start to do this, and once I start doing this, then I'm gonna get whatever it is. You have to do, not once I have, then I'm gonna do. You have to do. Always start with the do, and don't start with the once I have, right? It's once the calendar changes, once New Year's hits, then I'm gonna pursue my dream, then I'm gonna get into shape, then I'm gonna finally ask that girl out, but you have to do it today. You have to do it now, because if it's not an internal change, it won't last. External things are never permanent. You can never control what happens externally. You can only control what happens internally. So it has to be an internal change for it to be a long lasting thing. That's why I feel like whenever people have their New Year's resolutions, it only lasts for those couple of days, for those couple of weeks, and then life goes back to normal, because it was an external change that decided your change instead of an internal change. So before you decide whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want to change about your life, don't do it because of the New Year's. Do it because you want to change. You are the reason that change has to happen. So a new year doesn't mean a new you. It just means that you get to restart. It means you get to start from zero. But I feel like people mistake New Year's and a new you, because they feel like, yeah, since the clock changed, since the date changed, I'm also changed. But that's where they get it wrong. They don't think that it's their fault, but you have to understand that why hasn't your life changed? Why hasn't any of the New Year's resolutions that you set in the past stuck? Why haven't those become who you were and who you are? They never changed your life. You stuck to them for maybe 2 weeks, 2 months, but after that, it's done. You never really put the real change into your life, because it starts inside. It starts with you. So understand that it's always internally that has to change. If the things around you change, you don't change. You have to change in order for the things around you to change. I feel like we always think that, hey, if I change my location, if I move cities, if I move friend groups, then I'm a change. It doesn't work like that. You have to be the one to change in order for the things around you to change. So stop trying to use external things for an internal problem. It's always been an internal problem, not an external problem. It's not that, hey, 2024 wasn't my year. It's that you were your year, right? You were the reason why 2024 wasn't your year. It's not that, hey, it was because of the year and 2025 is going to be my year. The next X amount of your life is your life, and you're the one who controls it. It's not the date that is like, yeah, this is my year. You can make every single year your year if you change and if you choose to make it your year. So before you say, yeah, 2025 is going to be my year, understand that it will be your year if you change and if you make it your year. And every year after that, you make it your year. So don't make it a New Year's resolution. Make it a new you resolution. So I hope everyone's doing well. I'll see y'all in the next one.